She wasn't just fighting for titles. She was fighting for respect. For women. For Flint. For every doubter who said boxing was no place for her. Claressa Shields didn't just enter the ring, she took over. Fast hands, fierce heart, a chip on her shoulder, and gold in her sights. Two-time Olympic gold medalist. The first boxer, male or female, to become undisputed in 2 divisions in the 4-belt era. They called her the greatest woman of all time, and she earned that crown with blood, brilliance, and unbreakable belief. Now, she's cashing million-dollar checks, lighting up arenas, cruising in luxury cars, and building a brand beyond boxing. In MMA, in business, in legacy. So, before we break down the rise, the rage, and the relentless reign of Claressa Shields, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Because this isn't just women's boxing. This is the GWOAT's era. Born on March 17th, 1995, in Flint, Michigan, Claressa Shields grew up in a place where dreams were often broken before they even had a chance to breathe. Her father, Bo Shields, had once boxed in underground circuits, but spent 7 years behind bars, leaving her to be raised in a home shaped by hardship. When he returned, he spoke of boxing, of greatness, of Laila Ali, and something sparked in her. But Bo didn't believe boxing was a place for girls. At just 11 years old, Claressa walked into Berston Field House, defying her father's doubts and society's expectations. There, she found her lifelong trainer, Jason Crutchfield, and a purpose stronger than pain. Encouraged by her grandmother to never let her gender define her path, Claressa began a journey that would change not just women's boxing, but boxing itself. They call her T-Rex for a reason. With 2 Olympic gold medals in 2012 and 2016, she became the first American boxer, male or female, to win back-to-back Olympic golds. In the pro ranks, she shattered every ceiling, becoming the fastest fighter in history to claim undisputed titles across 3 weight divisions. From middleweight to heavyweight, she dominated 5 different classes, collecting belts like a force of nature. As of 2025, her net worth is estimated at $8 million, built not just on punches, but on power, perseverance, and business moves outside the ring. But the question isn't just what she's won, it's what she had to fight through to get there. That story is just beginning. Long before the world knew her as T-Rex, she was collecting junior Olympic titles and knocking down champions twice her age. In 2011, just 16 years old, she stunned everyone by winning the National Police Athletic League Championships, being named the top overall fighter. That victory unlocked the door to the U.S. Olympic trials, and she kicked it wide open. Shields tore through the competition, defeating national champion Francine Cruz-Dezern and world champion Andricia Wasson to earn her place on Team USA. Then came the 2012 Olympics in London. At just 17, Shields outboxed seasoned veterans, and in a poetic final act, she dominated Russia's Nadezhda Torlapova to capture gold, making history as the first American woman to ever win an Olympic boxing medal. And she wasn't done. By the time she defended her title at the 2016 Rio Games, beating Nuchka Fontin, her amateur record stood at a jaw-dropping 77 wins and just 1 loss. But greatness has no finish line, and she was just getting started. In November 2016, she turned professional, bringing her Olympic fire into a world still unsure how to market women's boxing. Claressa didn't ask for a spotlight. She took it. Her debut fight was a statement, beating Francine Cruz-Dezern by unanimous decision in a brutal, high-paced war. Just months later, she made history again, headlining ShoBox, becoming the first woman to ever do so on a U.S. premium network card. And she delivered, winning the NAF middleweight title with a TKO against Zilvia Zabatos. Each step in Shields' pro career wasn't just a victory, it was a record. By her 6th fight, she had already become a 2-division world champion, defeating Hannah Gabriel and surviving the first knockdown of her professional career in the process. She bounced back like a storm, proving not just resilience, but evolution. In 2018, she captured the WBN title after outpointing the undefeated Tori Nelson. Later that year, she handed out another clinic against Femke Hermans, this time on HBO's final boxing broadcast, closing an era with her fists raised. But April 13th, 2019 was different. That night, against the long-reigning Christina Hammer, Shields stepped into the ring not just to win, but to unify. 10 rounds later, she emerged as the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. Every belt, WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO, and the Ring magazine's inaugural strap rested on her shoulders. No woman had ever done it faster. No fighter, man or woman, had ever looked so dominant across weight classes so early in their career. And she kept climbing. After outclassing Ivana Habazin in January 2020 to become the fastest fighter in boxing history to claim world titles in 3 weight divisions, Shields wasn't just breaking records. She was rewriting the rulebook entirely. In 2021, she went back home to Flint and defeated Marie-Eve Dicaire in front of a pandemic-restricted crowd to become the first boxer in the 4-belt era to become undisputed in 2 separate divisions. Then came Savannah Marshall, the only woman to ever defeat her, back in the amateurs. The rematch was billed as a war, and it lived up to the hype. On October 15th, 2022, in front of a roaring crowd at London's O2 Arena, Shields outlanded, out-hustled, and outboxed Marshall over 10 fierce rounds. The decision was unanimous. The redemption? Complete. She reclaimed her place atop the middleweight mountain, undisputed again. Her momentum didn't slow. In 2023, she defended her titles against Maricela Cornejo with clinical ease. Then, she did what no one saw coming. She moved up to heavyweight. In July 2024, she dropped Vanessa LePage-Jonas 3 times in 2 rounds, capturing the WBO light heavyweight title and WBF heavyweight title in a single night. And in February 2025, she cemented her legacy by defeating Danielle Perkins for the undisputed heavyweight crown, becoming the first ever 3-division undisputed champion in boxing history. While others chase belts, Claressa collects eras. But her ambition wasn't limited to boxing rings. In 2021, she crossed into uncharted territory, signing with the Professional Fighters League to begin a new chapter in MMA. Her debut was gritty and thrilling, a 3rd-round TKO over Brittany Elkin. Though she tasted defeat in her second bout, Shields doubled down, signing a multi-year contract and training with legends like Holly Holm and Roberto Alencar. In 2024, she picked up another MMA win, this time against Kelsey DeSantis, proving her hunger to grow outweighed the risk of loss. Then, in May 2025, she announced her retirement from MMA, not because she couldn't win, but because her mission had evolved. As of 2025, she isn't just a boxer, she's an empire. But now that she's made history in every direction, what comes next? Outside the ring, Claressa Shields fights a different kind of battle, the kind that isn't lit by cameras or crowned with belts, but just as defining. At 13, 2 years after she discovered boxing, Claressa was baptized and began attending church, anchoring herself in faith. That belief gave her strength to walk away from the noise and carve out her own peace. Her compassion runs as deep as her power. In 2014, she attempted to adopt her cousin's daughter. Years later, she became an ambassador for Up To Us Sports, uplifting underserved youth and for gender equality in boxing, using her voice to champion those who never had one. In Flint, she's more than a fighter, she's a hero. On June 19th, 2022, her hometown honored her legacy by renaming a street after her. Her personal life has drawn public attention, especially her past relationship with rapper Papoose, and more recently, her engagement to fitness trainer Tony Richardson. He's not just her partner, but also her trainer and business ally, with Claressa serving as brand ambassador for his gym. Despite not having children, family remains her heartbeat. She's deeply close to her siblings and still carrying the scars and strength of her upbringing. But now, with the spotlight constantly chasing her, what kind of legacy does Claressa Shields want to leave behind? Her lifestyle today is a loud, unapologetic declaration of victory. When she bought her first house in Michigan, She stood in the living room with the kind of pride that only comes from remembering where you started. The post eventually came down for privacy, but for those who saw it, it wasn't just a home. It was proof that a girl raised in struggle could build a life wrapped in elegance. Her driveway tells its own story. A Lamborghini Aventador gleams like a trophy, a supercar as fierce as she is fast. There's a Shelby GT 500 for muscle, a Hellcat she calls her favorite, a Silverado for rugged training days, and even a Toyota Camry for when the GWOAT wants to keep it simple. But the most meaningful, a 2011 Chevy Malibu, the one she drove to her earliest fights. It's not about speed, it's about memory. Off the road, her sparkle doesn't fade. From GWOAT, engraved chains to collaborations with brands like Swimsuits for All, she blends luxury with legacy. Endorsements with Powerade, Audi, and Nike don't just elevate her bank account. They solidify her place among the elite. But as the designer fits and roaring engines echo louder, what exactly is Claressa Shields building beyond the belts and fame? The answer may surprise you. Before you go, don't miss out on exclusive perks. Click the link in the description to become a channel member and enjoy awesome benefits, like suggesting future video topics, getting early access to new content 48 hours before anyone else, and much more. Your support means the world and helps us keep bringing you the stories you love. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. And while you're here, why not check out our deep dive into Deontay Wilder's video? Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.